Hello, I'm going to talk about change. The change that's arisen as more and more staff are now working away from the office and more specifically working from home. My name's Tim, by the way. So what do folk do when they're working from home? They use general communication aids, audio conferencing, video conferencing, messaging, email such as webmail or Yahoo or Microsoft Outlook. Secondly, most staff will also need word processing and spreadsheet apps. Some companies use general collaboration tools such as Microsoft Teams or Slack. And thirdly, everyone requires some form of remote access, whether to business applications such as systems for sales tracking, finance and accounting and so on, or to corporate resources such as expenses or general admin. Let's consider the building blocks for working from home. Software tools. In some cases, tools may be mandated by the company. Other companies may adopt a less stringent approach to general communication tools, one which typically supports a mix of social media apps such as Line and WhatsApp, together with Google Drive for document and file sharing, and so on. The equipment. The equipment used by remote workers invariably includes a cell phone as well as a tablet or a PC, and these may be personal devices or may be supplied by the company. And access to the company's local area network and servers, or even to a cloud-based service, may be via one of several methods, for example via remote desktop, via a proprietary approach, such as used by the TeamViewer product, or via a VPN. So to sum up, there's a relatively complex picture for remote working. It comprises of general communication tools and business systems used by remote workers, their equipment, and the access methods, and therefore each company is typically different in its approach to working from home. The impact of the pandemic has been felt across all industries as order volumes fall, and especially in the case of manufacturing, as supply chains are either already impacted, else are at risk as the customers review their sourcing strategies. And supply chains are weakening as staff are being placed on unpaid leave. For those who are still working, the COVID-19 era has highlighted the importance of secure remote access, simply because as more and more employees work from home, cyber attacks have been on the increase. Roughly 70% of security professionals are reporting that security attacks related to COVID-19 have increased since the outbreak began. In particular, phishing attacks are a major threat. Then there's a malicious websites. For example, some claim to provide information about the pandemic. Finally, malware and ransomware remain as ever-present software viruses. Where do these threats come from? I'd like to suggest three main categories. State actors, governments that is, centered on the theft of intellectual property or of highly sensitive commercial or technical information. From criminals, looking for opportunities to make money, or individuals testing their skills. Let's call these guys amateur hackers. And thirdly, to employees doing stupid things, accessing risky websites or needlessly copying company confidential information onto their laptops for whatever reason. So risk not only exists, it is growing worse for companies of all sizes, from large companies through to small businesses. And that risk varies from compromising a few devices, such as PCs at one extreme, to an existential risk to the organization's whole existence at the other extreme. Of course, none of this is new. It's simply that it's got so much worse as hackers see more and more opportunities to target a company across its whole employee base. Large companies will continue to refine their cyber skills and defenses, essential because the threats keep evolving, whereas so many smaller companies really need to improve their game, often from quite a basic starting point. From the perspective of secure solutions, no one size fits all, inevitably. I'd like to suggest that there are three aspects of a sound approach to cybersecurity. Good business sense about how staff should behave online, coupled with business rules for all staff. For example, for messaging, you may use Skype for business or the company's regular email service, but never Facebook. And a good technical design, complemented by robust technical support to accommodate change, to protect against vulnerabilities, and to monitor network traffic. Your supply chain, as much as the rest of your business, depends on good security arrangements, where skilled technical support is available as and when needed by the business, and not simply to a schedule offered by technical teams, because that is so often a limitation that was introduced primarily to reduce demand for a scarce resource. And let me go back to an earlier point, that there's a relatively complex picture for remote working, comprising services, software tools, access methods, and so on. And therefore each company has its own needs in approaching how best to support working from home. The implication is this, that a company's approach to security ideally should flow from an assessment of business vulnerabilities through to ensuring a secure infrastructure, and right down to technical support to ensure that all staff get the service they need whenever there's a problem. From an IT perspective, it's unfortunately true that security needs to be designed into each system, each service. It rarely comes already neatly packaged in. And from a broader company perspective, it's becoming ever more important that each member of staff understands the need for security and correspondingly sensible behaviour to protect the company's assets. I hope we have persuaded you of one thing at least, that IT security is no longer an obscure technical topic just for the multinational companies. All companies need it. Thank you.